Many more people than expected tuned in to my investigative journalism, we'll call it, regarding the World Boss mass ban that was received by Goof Troop last week. Having been present in real time for much of that debacle, I extended invitations for leadership of both guilds to converse with me regarding the situation and how they felt after the fact. If interest remains, I intend to produce a part 2 that includes much of the new information that I've received since conducting these interviews regarding the automation of the ban, additional streamer involvement, and additional testimony from guild members. However, this video is merely the aggregation of the interviews conducted, and as such will be minimally visual, so feel free to play it in the background. One final addendum I'd like to make before getting into the interviews is that I had a very positive experience with all of these people. And while they may exhibit some interpersonal issues amongst each other, my experience with them was great. I think they're all very invested in their guilds and the people in them. And I really think that bears mentioning here. None of them came off as self-centered or self-interested players. Hey, Shotto.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up? I'm a nobody, as you know. I'm just doing this for the server and everything. And I don't know if you watched the video that I put out this morning, but I just want to let you. I edited everything out that could have been like problematic for you guys later, or at least that I thought could be. I wanted to be really respectful, maintain neutrality, and all that. So hopefully that's like a good faith indicator that like that's what I care about here.
Yeah, thanks, man. And I didn't know you were the GM of you were Tank Trill's GM at one point,
I
so that's
was,
really
yeah. I know
cool.
him personally. He's a great guy.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I believe you're doing justice for the server. So yeah, let's do this.
So basically, I want to open with allowing you to kind of give your entire account of what happened, your opinions on it. Basically, feel free to just kind of share your opinion until you're done, and then we can get into some questions.
Okay, cool. So basically, my guild started with a bunch of people that I knew from 2019 Classic. So NOC is actually supposed to stand for the three guilds: New York City, Occult, and Coalition. Three guilds that I knew of back in 2019. One, New York City, was the guild I was in 2019. Occult was a guild I was in SOD. And then Coalition was a guild in 2019. New York City and Coalition were on Harad Horde, and they joined like one of my AQ40 G bids, and it was great. So that's what NOC technically stands for, which is funny. But we, there's so many memes now. We just go by NOC. So that's why I made the guild. Uh, for the three guilds that I was in, and I just like wanted to play with all the friends I did. Now a lot of people have stopped playing. It's been so long. So basically, I didn't do any world bosses in 2019. And we were on a PvP server. I don't even know who was doing them on Harad. But then when we played this, one of the new recruits, Thug Life, had this whole server of all the stuff he used to do on Pagel and all these world bosses. I was like, hell yeah, man! If you want to organize it, he organized it. I had some other players, make these like add-ons or whatever the hell they were. And I just watched as the system was amazing. And I'm like, okay, let's do world bosses. And then all of a sudden, we start doing this when they release in vanilla. And I start seeing this thing called griefing, which is basically, you know, um, a thing that I can only relate as closely to as, you know, hacking, botting, or just cheating. It's obviously not that, but what I have said a million times is what I understand with griefing is any idiot can do it. It's piss easy to do. And if everyone did it, no one would get world boss kills. Now this is only applied to PvE servers. On PvP servers, it's crazy. There's no rules to it. These were the rules back in someone. I don't know who found this at some point, but there's a way back machine um, web archive of it, basically from 2005 when they released Lord Kazakh. Okay, and it basically gave the rules for the PvE and PvP server.
I
So
have
like,
that, so I'll share it.
yeah, yeah. So like, I mean, if we're being super obtuse and annoying about it, the rules say you're not supposed to do that. But obviously Blizzard changes, etc. So the world bosses release Kazakh and Azzy, and we noticed, I don't remember the first guild to do it. I don't remember who was doing it. All I remember was we attempted Kazakh. Someone went in and just died, and Kazakh healed, and I was like, what the hell? And then I think more people healed. I don't remember my first instance of seeing it. All I remember was thinking, that's so fucked. Can anyone just do that? And everyone who had experienced Thug Life and everyone basically told me, no, that's not allowed. Apparently, people were banned for it back in 2019 and all this stuff. And if you do all this research, you can see that, long story short, people always would do this. But I think it took all the efforts that NOC and allies made in constantly going to Blizzard, reporting them, and saying, hey, this isn't right, for it to finally be a thing that they acknowledged. And they acknowledged it. I think there was, and by they I mean Blizzard, I think there was a forum post where someone was complaining about this and someone responded, it's okay, they got the ban. And this is the notorious ban that I think they got in March of 2025. So what I always wanted was a blue post, from them to say, this is against terms of service, but it doesn't actually warrant a blue post as much as I would love it, because technically they're just following the TOS, as vague as it may be, is not specific as it may be, but they followed it. It just took forever. Um, Now, what happened this past month, a couple days ago, and all of this, what we have done since a year ago is, with world bosses, was if you see someone grief, you report them in game, you type world boss griefing, and then we move on. But after Goof Troop got banned for 2 weeks a year ago, they didn't do any griefing for like 11 months. And it was really just us and Goof Troop for all of the rest of vanilla killing world bosses. And at that point, it just became a gold hub for us, because as he Kazakh dropped a lot of dark runes, as he dropped a lot of items. It was great, and Goof Troop stopped really caring. I think they came back right at like pre-patch to get their like shamans some quick gear or something. Then we had like a bunch of layers. We got a bunch of world bosses. It was great, and they didn't grief during that time either. So they didn't grief for 11 whole months. Then TBC comes out, and basically I never noticed Goof ever griefing again, but I noticed others griefing then. And so we just followed the same protocol like we always did. Hey, that person griefed, report them. And we have a lot of new people now. It's been, so long. And they're like, oh, what do you do? Oh, yeah, you just right click their name, you hit report, and that's it. And that's all we do. And my understanding is when you put that report in, there's like a snapshot or a log that Blizzard has in their own system that says, oh, they can track what they did. And I think before this mass ban, I think I heard of someone getting some sort of ban, a Horde player, but I don't have that in front of me right now. But it seemed like now the system that took 3 months to work is now working instantly. So when I first heard this, when we reported Hearthburn for when he griefed, and he did admit that he did grief, uh, patently admitted it on recording.
Yeah, that's in the
I,
video as well.
yeah, I thought that was the system working super fast, and everyone paints me as the villain because I am a living meme. I get it, but I don't think they realize how frustrating it was for 4 months sitting there watching people take world boss after world boss, stealing it over and over, and just knowing on our end that it was against the rules. Then they finally were caught in the act, 2-week ban. It clearly broke TOS. You know, it took a lot of effort to get this done. So anyone who ever thought that it was me who caused 1,000 members of Goof to be banned, you think if I had that power, I wouldn't have done that like a year ago. It took 4 months of me going to other guild GMs, going to other pugs who sometimes did a world boss, be like, what the heck is going on? Why are they allowed to do that? It wasn't just 4 months of whatever. And I had guildies who were on all the time scouting. And we scout, we win the tag, we get the world boss, and then some dumb idiot, as the dumbest, easiest thing you can do, just run in there and divine intervention someone, or just run in there and eat a cleave and die, heal Kazakh, then we wipe, then they go in and we sit and don't grief time and time again. And it was extremely frustrating knowing that it was against TOS. Now, I have no like proof or Bible or like this is the literal thing. I have a 2005 post that says it's not allowed. I have stuff from 2019 that says it wasn't allowed. And a lot of people say, is it allowed? Is it allowed? Well, all of that is now squashed because HPAL himself, Ribcage, admitted that when they got banned, it was because of that. Now, when they initially got banned a year ago, it was all, oh, you guys must have abused it. They said the same thing then, but it wasn't. And they know it wasn't. And you know why they knew it wasn't? Because they didn't do it for 11 months, because they knew that if they did, I mean, that's the closest proof I have. It's you were found guilty, but what's the law? I don't know, but I'm never going to do the crime again because, it probably was because I broke the law. I mean, there's nothing else I can say. I mean, if Blizzard was like the best company on earth, they would address this in their own interview and say exactly what you can and can't do. But that again, I don't have that kind of power. So Hearthburn admitted to griefing, and why he griefed this one time, he thought what we did was, quote, a chicken shit tactic. Okay. The tactic we did on Doomwalker is simple. You get your tanks and healers there ASAP so you can have the tag. While the tanks and the healers are getting the tanks pull and the healers are healing the couple tanks, you summon the rest of the group. So now we have the tag secured and we're summoning the rest of the group. Then the rest of the group gets there and we start fighting Doomwalker and killing it. That is not against TOS. That's not griefing. Hearthburn calls that chicken shit tactics, which is interesting because he used the same tactic on Azergos a year ago. They would summon their tank, pull Azzy, heal the tank, and summon the rest while they had the tag. And they, as as great as they think they are, have never truly competed with us on world bosses because we would watch, and what I could have simply told my guild to do is do exactly what they did. Hey hunters, start distracting shotting and pull it into the water. But why I didn't do that and why I've always told my guildies not to grief, because it's not allowed. And if everyone did that, if they did it back, then we did it back, and if we just constantly did that, no one would get kills. So in a perfect world, they should have been banned a day after in 2025. And so when this happened, I was like, oh wow, the system is working. But apparently it wasn't that. There are allegations that there's a streamer who did it, GG who did it. I have no idea. All I know is what I tell my guildies to do is you see someone grief a world boss, right click their name, report, and be done with it. And that's it. That's all you can do because the system worked once and we hope that the system keeps working. But we're only a few group of people. There's like people, I think there's like 50 total people, maybe 55 or 60 who participate in World Boss in my guild. And Goof Troop has like 1,000 members in the guild. I don't know how many people they have. So anytime we beat them, it's pure effort of us just getting there quicker and scouting and being faster and responding faster. But they have cheated probably at least 100 kills in total of a year. So I don't have sympathy for the griefers and for Hearthburn getting banned. I have sympathy for the innocents who got banned in this automatic whatever the hell. And on that note, I mean, we had Goof Troopers in our Saturday night pug. I have friends in Goof Troop, and I had friends reach out to me and be like, "What the hell did you guys do?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? What did I do? I've done what I've always done: is report world boss griefers. Of course, I don't want my friends banned. So any accusation that I had anything to do with this is insane. Um, the only people I ever want banned are world boss griefers. That's it. Um, so yeah, that's like honestly, that's still the short end of it. But yeah, I'll answer any questions if you have.
Sure, absolutely. Um, so even though there's some heated language and stuff that you're kind of like using to describe your relationship with Hearthburn at this point, do you guys think that Nock and Goof Troop after last night have come to like a resolution for working together in the future, or at least not working against
Um,
each other?
yeah, I mean, so at the end of the day, like, we agreed to do what we have always never done is griefed. One thing I said in the video is that, or in the agreement talks, is that there were times that I would retaliate, and this was when it was like in its heyday of like 3 months in of them always griefing. But I didn't have like some systematic thing. I would just be the idiot GM who tried one little thing because I was just so frustrated, which is exactly what Hearthburn did the other day. Because it was only him, like he said. He had the same frustration, except his frustration was he lost and he lost to us. My frustration after 3 months of retaliating was you guys keep getting away with fucking murder and it's fucked. So
Right.
his his retaliate so I I have said time and time I think they owe us, but obviously they never do that, and I guess they think I'm crazy for even thinking that, but in my opinion and my guildie's opinions, they do. Um, if they never grief a world boss again, I will just have the same contempt I will always have. If they want us to actually be pleasant with them again, they would have to give us some sort of like reconciliation or compensation or even just some acknowledgement that they, if not are 100% have been in the wrong this whole time, at least 95% in the wrong. Okay, sure, we once in a while did a little thing here and there, but they have caused this. It is as close to whoever caused this' fault as it is Goof's themselves. Because if they never created this environment a year ago, this would never have happened. If they just played by the rules day one, then a year ago later, they would still have been playing by the rules, and whoever caused this automated thing, whoever is behind the scenes or whatever the hell even happened, in my opinion, wouldn't have happened. They are the proximate cause of this, in my opinion. So, um, if they never agree for world boss agreement, then I still just don't like them. If they do more and like start telling people not to grief world bosses and say that they were wrong for ever doing it and admitting it and just normally just put some sort of message out there, I then might be like neutral with them again. Like I am with, I don't know, FR or something. But for now, it's just, yeah, sure. If they never grief again, okay, still same old Goof Troop who griefed us a year ago that I never liked because they did that for so long. But okay, so yeah.
Understood. Can I ask what role do like GG and Simon Eyes on the Horde side play in all this?
Okay, so this is all conjecture, speculation, and rumors that I've heard. Everything else, I mean, like I have just videos and the Wayback Machine and screenshots and communications to back up what I said thus far. But from here on, it's only conjecture. So, um, my understanding of what I've heard from people and etc. is that allegedly, and I have no evidence to this, so I really don't know. So it could just be rumors that when PBC came out, a lot of the streamers and the people came to Dreamscythe. I know they did during pre-patch, but apparently a lot of them went Horde, which makes sense because the best time to be Alliance is vanilla, because once you get to TBC, and honestly, almost for the rest of the game, the horde racials outdo the alliance racials. The only main reason to be alliance in vanilla or at all, in my opinion, if you want to be super sweaty, is just Blessing of Kings. That's it. So once TBC comes out and they have that too, the horde racials outdo the alliance ones. So that's probably why the streamers and the whatevers and the most sweats go horde. Um, so they probably all went horde, but horde have never had a good dominant structure in world bosses since 2025, early late 2024. I mean, sometimes a horde would get it. um, he's probably gonna hate me because I don't remember the name of his guild, but there's a guy that we're close to. I believe it's Epoch, but I could be wrong. Yes, it is Epoch, and they sometimes would get a world boss kill in vanilla, but they were the only ones who ever got anything significant. But then when TBC came out, a lot of players went horde, and apparently, allegedly, no facts, no evidence to this, um, people from GG know some of these streamers, and according to what you heard from Hearthburn, apparently they were talking to Simonize and telling him how BS this is. The only thing I know for a certain fact is that Forpick, who is a feral druid for GG, did grief one of our Nox TBC Kazakh attempts, and he taunted Kazakh away from us to kill himself, to shadow bolt all our raiders, which is World Boss Griefing, which we did all report him for. And I did then go into GG's server and I added Dank, the GM, and I said, hey, your guy is griefing. And sorry, one sec. And his response, the way he responded, and I have screenshots to this, was relax, Shotto, I'm gonna talk to him. Okay. Great. Um, Meaning, I'm going to talk to him because I know that's not allowed. Okay. If you know that, then you know Hearthburn and Goof Troop, what they're doing is not allowed. So is it so far to say that the rumor that you have, the rumor that's out there that GG is close with the streamers, and that maybe the streamers have some power to get in contact with the higher ups to get something done like this, is that so far fetched? I don't know, who knows. But that is a huge claim that I have no backing for. All I know is that Dank knows that world boss griefing is against TOS. I know that Simon Eyes says in his stream that it's against TOS. What does that mean? Did they go and do something on? I have no idea, but they could have. And I know it wasn't us, because if I had that power, that would be insane. And it took 4 months for anything to happen. So if I had such power, then those 4 months wouldn't have ever happened. So it could be them. I have no evidence to it though.
Fair enough. And finally, like, what if you had developer power at Blizzard, right? If you had pull there and you could see changes made that you wanted to see made as regards these more exclusive bosses, these things that you have to fight for, what do you think the solution would be for world bosses?
Um, I think world bosses are perfect just the way they are. I think if you want world bosses, you have to work towards it. You have to scout. Um, you have to mobilize quickly. And I believe that we are the best guild in from 2024 to today to ever have accomplished this by following the rules. Um, so I am staunched in favor of keeping it just like it is, with one caveat. Someone from Blizzard, someone out there, sends an updated blue post that just says, hey, you know the thing we said in 2005? It still applies today. That's it. That's really it. I mean, the thing they said in 2005, if you go the way back, it's very detailed. Obviously, it was a little janky the way the it was worded, and they were being all like RP about Kazakh. So obviously, give it a modern update and just basically say You know the thing we said in 2005, that idea that if you're on a PvE server, it makes it totally unfair for your same faction to do things against you when you properly engage the boss, like taunting off you or killing yourself on purpose or things like that. It makes it unfair because I can't do anything to stop you. It's not like a PvP server where they also addressed that and they said, hey, do whatever the hell you want, basically, in that 2005 post. So I would change nothing about world bosses other than um, putting out a post. And maybe, second thing is, if population went down and the layers went down from 2 to 1, because right now it's usually 3, sometimes 2, sometimes 1, sometimes more, then I would increase the respawn rates. But that's only if population goes down. So yeah, those are no technical changes, just some updated info about the rules. I think they're perfect just the way they are.
Awesome. I had a list of like 5 or 6 more questions, but honestly, you covered a lot of them, like in your initial explanation. So I really appreciate you being so thorough. I guess not an interview related question, but my final one for you is there any part of this that you're not comfortable having shared publicly, and is it all right if I share all of this publicly?
No, just yeah, no, I'm good. You can share it all.
All right. I really appreciate your time, Shotto. I'll definitely follow up if this situation continues to evolve, but I promise to do my best to be good faith about it and, just treat it the same way I treated the first one. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, man. All right, take
Have a
care.
good day,
Be
bud.
well. See you.
Hey,
Hey,
guys.
Rib, you there?
Hello? Hello?
Hey, Rip.
Hey.
Hey.
So, like I was telling Hearthburn, I made like a little video that's, I guess, uh, a little more neutral than I guess some of the other content that's been made about this. I suspect it has like the potential to become like a larger kind of evolved situation that gives like all of the Classic WoW players a chance to have a better experience in Classic Plus. Hopefully, that's kind of like my personal goal here. Um, but I figured the context and your guys' experience with this whole situation would be great to have. So I just wanted to give you guys like an open forum to say whatever it is you had to say about the entirety of the situation that's happened up until this point, and then ask you some questions after that, if that's okay.
Yep.
All right.
Sure.
I remember I got a little nervous because I thought I pissed you off last night. You're like, I don't know who the fuck you are. I'm like, dude, I'm just a guy.
No, you're good.
But yeah,
No worries.
if either of you guys would like to start, just from 2019, because I think you guys were on Fairlina with NOC back then, right?
Nope.
No, we were on Grobulus, and our guild started out as a casual guild, but like quickly started to speed run. And we've always had like drama around world buffs and things like that. People purging our guild, us purging other people. I've never been somebody to clutch pearls and record things and report it and try to like throw people under the bus. I've just kind of always been a person to deal with the problem and like improvise and adapt to this situation. So when whenever we and end up on top with these situations, people tend to get upset and like to point at situations like where if we've been purging other guilds back then, we had been purged ourselves, so we were doing what we were doing to protect ourselves, to retaliate. And so this is very similar to that. Same thing happened with there was coalitions formed for the or for the Scarab Lord. I didn't even get a Scarab Lord myself. I wanted to get as many for my guild members as possible back then. It wasn't even something that was personally like important to me for my own gain. I just wanted to like help everybody else get as many as they could. So I put a coalition together with other Horde and the other biggest guilds on the server and basically sliced up like territory and said, listen, this is what we're gonna be farming, and we're going to be constantly there. We had a very large guild at the time. Again, I don't go out there and like in mass spam people to join our guild. Our guild gets big over time because we have a very inclusive community that people join and then they want their friends to be here. We get big via word of mouth. We don't go out and just randomly invite people unless like people are in pugs or something and they're there. We have an application based process. We don't put advertisements out. We have just the regular thing that everybody posts on the server with our guild information, and one of my recruiters just bumps the post from time to time. But our guild gets to its size just based off of word of mouth. So being one of the larger guilds and consistently being one of the larger guilds, every time we've come back together to do content, it's a byproduct of being a large guild. You get people upset. You're going to run into more people. People are going to see your name. They're not going to like it if like the guy with the Goof Troop tag is constantly tagging my mobs, constantly out there farming when I'm farming, world PvPing when we were on a PvP server. It's you start to see our name more and more, and that does frustrate some people. It doesn't make other people, I think, more well-adjusted people who don't get frustrated from just seeing the same name over and over. Don't tend to get upset about those things and tend to just see us as a large guild. But our goal is never to go out and grief other people and to make people have a bad time while playing this game. The only reason I play this game and do this is to create an experience for my guild members and the people here who I've been playing with now for 6 years. Because I could not find a community that I could join that was big and full of people and had people on all times of the day when I was trying to play this game prior to Classic WoW coming out. When Classic WoW came out, my goal was to get on here, make a guild, and make it a good community. And it just exploded from there. And it's just been a big guild ever since. And we have a lot of people. We have a lot of people that are inactive that come back. There's a lot of other guilds out there like this. We're not the best players by any means. We do pretty good with the amount of effort that we put into it. When it comes to the world bosses, we just have a lot of people. The world bosses are easy to take when you have a lot of people. When you have people willing to scout, when you have people who like doing the world bosses, enjoy like the thrill of it and having fun doing it, you have people that are willing to scout and do it. It's just like people love to do it. It's a fun activity. It's something that like this game gets pretty boring after launch. As we start to get settled in and our characters are all geared out, ready, all professions are done, you need other stuff to do, and world bosses are one of those things. So I think that with this situation, I don't know what specifically got us banned. Because Blizzard doesn't communicate anything anymore because they just use AI and third-party people to contact you instead of giving you a real response of what happened. But in the previous go-around, or in Classic this last year, 2025 Classic anniversary, we were doing what we did on Grobulus, which is like if somebody pulled Kazakh, we were just running in and wiping, and that was allowed because it was a PvP server. We haven't played on a PvE server as a guild. All the SOD and SOM that we did was all on PvP. So on PvE, we learned that if you do that to your same faction, it is bannable. There was a lot of gray areas. People were posting links to screenshots from 2005, using that as evidence. I'm sorry, but I don't think that screenshots from 2005 are really relevant to content in 2025, 20 years later. But Blizzard, somebody at Blizzard decided that using Mocking Blow and taunting Kazakh to wipe the Kazakh raids, despite the fact that it's still killable when you do that, and we still have had to deal with it ourselves. And the reason we started to do it on Dreamscythe is because other people were doing it to us. And NOC and Rise and all these other guilds claimed that it was rogue actors. It wasn't anybody in their guild, but it was very clear, and FR as well. But it was very clear that there was some specific people that were targeting our guild when we would go for kills and would do this. So we just started to do it to other people. I don't think that absolves us from guilt. I don't think that if that's against the rules, then anybody who did it should have been banned. But again, I feel like our guild was targeted because we are a larger guild. We have a ton of people and people willing to do the scouting, that we were constantly a thorn in other people's side when it came to getting kills. And they reported us en masse, and they were able to get a response. Now, if Blizzard says it's against the rules, then it's against the rules, and they're 100% right. We had a mass ban just like this, where we had people who had nothing to do with world bosses, never been to a world boss, literally were just doing AV grinding and leveling their alts and things like that, who got banned, and the same thing happened. Okay, fine. We stopped doing it. We learned our lesson. There were some other things with Azergos. There was ways to reset Azergos. Again, people were doing the same shit to us. They were ripping threat. and we did not start the griefing. People griefed our guild, and we just griefed anybody else that was involved in doing the world boss at that point. I'm not saying that that absolves us or makes what we did correct, but that's the response. We did not go out of our way to grief other people. If you don't want to believe that, and I'm talking to people who are listening to me saying this, that's fine. You don't need to. The people in our guild know who we are. They know that we're good people. We don't have any bad intention when it comes to ruining this game for other people, but we are not people that are going to take things lying down when it comes to being harassed and being griefed ourselves. We're going to respond and retaliate as much as we can. Obviously, being a large guild, we got our slap on the wrist. We got a ban for 2 weeks, and we had some pretty upset people at the time. Fast forward a year later, the only thing now that I can think of that got us banned this time around was we had a PvP incident with a guild called GG, which is Simon Eyes, who's a streamer, and he was very clearly upset on his stream about this, and he was making threats that he would, get us in trouble for this, and we would face consequences for this. They somehow were flagging themselves, and Ribcap, after I'm done going through this, can probably talk a little bit more about this, because he actually spoke with the GM of GG, and they were testing to see what they were complaining about. Somehow, they were managing to flag themselves, and Ribcap will go over the mechanics of this. We had no idea. We walked in and saw flagged horde, and we killed them. It's a PvE server, but if there's flagged horde at a world boss, they're going to get killed. Anyways, there was accusations that we were abusing a mechanic to flag their players, which is completely ludicrous. It's made up. We have no way of abusing a mechanic to flag horde. If we did, we'd be using it a lot more if it was allowed. It's probably not allowed, and we don't know how to do it. So these guys are, fabricating stuff. They also said that we have horde characters that are max level warriors that are running in and taunting the boss, and they have similar names to our other players. Again, completely ludicrous. Why would we name the characters that we're griefing it's a $10 rename. Even if we made a horde alt, why would we run in with the same name as our mains? If that is the case, I haven't even seen the character they're talking about that's done this. But again, these are just accusations that get thrown out. I get pinged, I get tagged, I get, I'm not even playing the game. Sometimes I'm hanging out with my wife and I'm reading rage DMs from people about this because my guild's doing world bosses. And again, it's there's nothing that we're doing to abuse mechanics here. But that's the only encounters that we've had with Simon Eyes. And the fact that Simon Eyes probably knows people at Blizzard, or at least has a contact who may know somebody, it's very suspicious. He also was kind of gloating when we got banned as well, that he got our guild banned. So I have a feeling it could have something to do with this. And then we were told also that the guild NOC mass reported us after an incident where we were about to go pull a boss, and their GM Shotto has been consistently running in on his mage prior to them being ready and ice lancing Doomwalker to pull the boss and fuck with us and pull the tag, even though he has no intent to kill the boss at that time. He's just trying to delay the tag to fuck with us. Is it against the rules? No, I guess not. But this is annoying behavior that we were frustrated with. We saw their players run in and do the similar thing, running in and tagging it with very few players ready at the boss. So I just taunted the boss and ran out, and the boss reset. And then we got the tag and killed the boss. And we killed the boss one time. That's the only time I've ever done that on that boss. I haven't killed myself at Kazakh. I haven't reset a boss tag. I haven't reset mob tags. This is just like something that I don't, even if it is my fault and I am the one that they're mad that I reset the boss, which is fair. If I broke a rule in retaliation to behavior that other people did that is technically not against the rules, then I should be banned for a week. That's fine. I'll take my week ban. I don't know why my entire guild got banned. Players who joined our guild, decided that the guild wasn't a fit, and then left, went to a different guild, they got banned. That doesn't make any sense. They never went to a world boss. They never fucking and people are calling us liars about this. Like, I've sent them screenshots of people messaging us who have left the guild saying, "Hey, did you guys get banned? Because I got banned about, something about guild activity." So it's just, I mean, this is very clearly a over reaching ban. This is just a blanket ban of an entire guild for no reason. I understand if you're abusing mechanics, if you're resetting bosses and getting extra loot as a guild, if you're abusing a mechanic to kill a boss easier, if you're doing things that like are genuinely cheating as a guild, as a unit, and using the whole guild to do that content, like a raid content, you should be banned as a guild. There's been plenty of examples over the years where guilds have been together as a unit, breaking the rules, and those guilds deserve to be banned 100%. I think that is a good call by Blizzard, and that's what should be done. In this situation, I think this is absolutely ludicrous. It makes no sense. There's a lot of innocent people that got banned. There's a lot of people who have never bought gold, never been banned for speech, never got, and they're banned over what? And, some of those people may not return to the game, which is unfortunate. But, a lot of us who have been playing this for a while are used to this type of shit. And unfortunately, when you're playing a game where they don't care about the customer service, everything is bottom line based. You're going to get third-party customer service that live in another country that don't care about solving the problem. They just want to do their job and get paid. Don't blame them. And they probably aren't getting compensated well, which is why Blizzard's going outside of the country to pay for customer service, because they don't want to pay people a livable wage, as usual. And, they're going out of their way to just completely ignore any appeals and just send generic AI responses back. Nobody has reached out. I mean, I think a situation like this, from any other game developer, any other company, I think a game developer would reach out and have a conversation. If this was RuneScape even, who isn't great with customer service, if there was something like this, there would at least be a mod that comes out and says, hey, guys, you can't do this shit. You're getting in trouble for this, and explain what happened. Nothing has been explained. It's a weak ban that happened in the middle of the lockouts. I'm not sweating about it. Listen, I will go to World Bosses and I will do everything I can to play within the rules. I don't even know if I'm allowed to PvP at World Bosses anymore, because if Simon Eyes is there with his guild and some of them are flagged, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to go in and kill people who are flagged, because I might get banned for it. It wasn't explained to me, so I don't know why. It's really, really concerning that this is the state of this game. But what else is new? I've been playing this game for since I was 15 years old. Over 20 years I've been subscribed to this game. Pretty much, I'd say over 80% of that lifetime. And I have Stockholm syndrome. I'm stuck with this game because it's one of my. I love it. I'm passionate about it. I have my friends that all play this game that are this is what we play every single day. And unfortunately, I'm shackled to this shitty customer service that's the current state of things. But again, mass reporting, I think it's pretty Karen behavior. I think that those are the same, cop caller type of people that'll call the cops on somebody, weird being in their neighborhood. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, this is an MMORPG, and part of that is dealing with the social things that happen in this game. And I'm willing to deal with that. I know what I signed up for when I decided to play an MMO. I play it for a reason, because I like the social interaction that it provides. But at the end of the day, I think that what they've done, Blizzard. I'm speaking about Blizzard, is ridiculous. And I think that if Simon Eyes, abused his small platform to bully a guild that's larger than his guild to get what they want, I think it's pathetic. But I mean, if you watch the guy, it's nothing new. It's just the type of way the guy is. He thinks he can get what he wants, no matter what. And, as far as NOC goes, listen, I understand. If I was in NOC's shoes, if I was the smaller guild that was constantly having to deal with a larger guild, in a sense, be bullied, about world bosses because of the numbers, I would be upset too. If I was in their shoes, I probably would be mad. I would probably be frustrated that our guild takes a majority of the world bosses. And I wouldn't be happy about it either. And if the guild master, reset a tag on me, I probably would be mad too and tell everybody to mass report. So I can't really blame them for mass reporting. I don't think I would be this upset about it. It's one boss kill. I think that everybody will get over it. But at the end of the day, it's their prerogative to do what they want, and if they chose to mass report, that's on them. They got a lot of people banned that didn't deserve to get banned through mass reporting our entire guild. And if it is Simonize, again, that's on him too. He got a lot of people who did nothing wrong banned. And if you say something like, "Oh, you are the company that you keep," it makes no sense. We haven't been doing that. We haven't been griefing. So using that as an excuse and saying that collateral damage is okay is very pathetic. I mean, if it happened to you and you were in our shoes, you wouldn't feel the same way. And if you're unwilling to believe our side of the story, then I mean, why are we even having this conversation?
Fair.
I'm being honest and I'm being completely transparent about it. And that's basically everything from my point of view. So, Rib, if you want to just maybe explain the details about the conversations with the Guildmaster of GG, I feel like that's an appropriate thing to do.
Sure. Yeah. We went to Kazakh one time. GG was there. I personally flagged for PvP. They started attacking me, checked combat logs. It was auto attacks from Simonize. It was auto attacks from other players. They all started to flag. They obviously then healed those people. This was in the middle of a Kazakh kill, which, if you haven't killed Kazakh in TBC, needs to be about 30 seconds, right? Otherwise, it enrages and wipes your guild. So this wasn't like there was no buffing happening, which I think they're kind of coping on, saying that, oh, well, we just buffed people that were flagged. You intentionally attacked someone who was flagged. They got flagged. They healed the flagged people. Then they all became flagged. We killed them. There was a back and forth. They went on top of like a hill to run away from us. We landed and sappered all of them, and they had to take res sickness because you can't get back on that. You can't res at your body. They sat with res sickness and watched us kill the world boss. Because they couldn't do anything. They tried running in. We seeded Kazakh and killed all of them as they ran in to PvP us and died. We were talking about it in the drama channel. They were upset and tagging Hearthburn, saying that they were going to mass report us and they were going to get us banned in the drama channel. So I started talking. The GM was talking in there. I started talking to him, and I thought he was actually like fine with it, and he said, this was a lot of fun. Actually, he had fun playing the game this way. I said, cool, that's awesome. Like, cool, man. Started DMing him. Turns out he was actually upset and just like feigning the, enjoyment of it. And I sent you all the screenshots, my entire history and conversation with him. He said there was a bug. I said, let's go test it. Because he was also claiming a lot of other things that just aren't true. He claimed that you can't grief on same faction on Kazakh. You 100% can. We've been griefed by other people on the server. By like Alliance taunting it and killing themselves. We've 100% been griefed that way. In this iteration of the game, I tried to explain to him how it works. He doesn't believe it. He thinks that only Horde can grief Horde and only Alliance can grief Alliance. That's just not true. He then claimed that we have some kind of inside agent on Horde that taunts the boss. Also not true. I asked the person who he was, claiming that this was. They said no. And I asked with no context, private DM between him and I. He still didn't believe me. I said, okay, you're accusing us of this, but you yourself grief us and taunt the boss when we're fighting it. It's just pretty black and white. If anyone's griefed, it's been them. So I said, he then claimed, well, Simonize didn't auto attack you. He hit you with Blade Flurry and when he was killing Kazakh. And it flagged him. I tried to explain that's not how it works. If I'm flagged for PvP and you're not, and you Arcane Explosion, right? That doesn't flag you. He was under the impression that it does, and still is to this day. Explain that's not how it works. He said, "Oh, my girlfriend is a shaman. Go meet her in Nagrand and test it." So we did. So I pulled a mob while flagged. She chain lightning the mob, didn't flag her. Their whole thing was that it was chain lightning and all these AoE abilities. So they said, oh, that's not how it works. Then she dropped the fire Ellie totem, and the fire elemental attacked me, and it flagged her. So that was their, silver bullet. They were like, see, there is a bug. And you guys had to have known about it. That's why you came out to Nagrand and tested it with us, which makes no sense. There is a bug, and we're going to start doing it to you, and we're going to mass report you. Like, okay, well, good luck. Now I'm being threatened, so I'm gonna just threaten it back and said, okay, well, good luck. We have 960 members. We'll just do the same thing to you if you want to mass report us. As far as if that is a bug, I don't know. Didn't know about it until I went out there with them and tested it. She could have also had been spamming Control 1 when she dropped the totem. I don't know if there's a pet bar. I don't play Shaman. Could have something that having it attack you. I really don't know. They claim that that's like our ace in the hole, and that's how we get world boss kills and get them flagged intentionally. It's not true. I went out there to test it with them to prove to them that that wasn't true. Why would I do that if we're actually bug abusing? Why would I go out there and offer to test it with them? And that was pretty much it. I mean, I by the way never saw them at a world boss again after that. As far as the like Doomwalker thing with NOC, Shotto does. We did hop in a voice call yesterday. He agreed that what he does is grief as fuck. When you're a mage pulling a world boss while a guild's about to pull it, especially on Doomwalker, which I don't know, Face, if you've ever killed Doomwalker and know the mechanics. I'm sure you have. But the boss does a chain lightning. If you stack onto a raid, even if you're not in combat with that mob and you chain the lightning to more people, it will kill them, which gives you a 15-minute debuff. So starting a boss as we have 40 people flying in and trying to fuck up the boss's positioning, that 100% is griefing. We were under the impression that's what they were doing when Hearth taunted the boss. He understood our position. We both agreed, okay, that's true. That does seem fucked up from your perspective. From our perspective, we were trying to kill it with 5 people and hold the boss there and summon more people, and hold the tag indefinitely until we summoned the rest of the raid team out, when we had 40 people there ready to go. We both understood each other's position on it, agreed it won't happen again, moved on. And that's it. And the whole thing with NOC was, we haven't griefed you for a year. Why would we start doing that now, right? We haven't done anything that would be considered griefing since we got banned from it and we're told that it was against TOS. Why would we now start doing that? Out of just anger for some reason that we were getting world boss kills and we want another one? It just doesn't make sense. So that's pretty much it.
Absolutely. For the record, I got kills in 21, but I've done nothing but wipe in 26. So,
Got it.
Let's see. First on my list of questions for you guys is with that interaction last night. Some of that stuff I did edit out of the video because I felt like I didn't want to risk any like future action or something. Like if a Blizzard guy happened to watch it, I didn't want anything that could be construed as like, oh, this guy said something, let's fucking permaban his account. Any of that shit I edited out, right? Because I feel like that's what content creators don't do, and I'm not one. So I make videos for my friends. I wanted to make sure that everybody was kind of like as protected as I could be. So if you guys have any issues with anything I posted, I made the same offer to Shotto. Just let me know, and I'll make sure that I trim that.
I hope they permaban me at this point, bro. To be honest, like it'll free me from this fucking game, man. I'm literally, I mean, at this point, we're all fucking cucks to this fucking company, and yeah. I'd love to get fucking permabanned. I mean, if they want to do it. It'd probably make my life a whole lot better. I'd be able to go to the gym a lot more, and probably make my wife a whole lot happier too. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's you can post everything. I don't care. I mean, people aren't going to believe me. People will, the people that like us, that aren't in our guild, that I mean, it's funny, of all the shit in the drama channel, I had an outpouring of people reach out to me that heard about this that I haven't talked to in years. That were super nice and, saying what's up. So it was actually, the silver lining of this whole thing is I got in contact with a lot of people that I haven't talked to in a while. So, which was pretty cool. And, I talked to a few friends I haven't messaged in a while just because, just it's something to talk about. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's, I just want to, the one thing I want from this, I just want to know what we can and can't do. I mean, I'm aware we can't taunt the boss and reset it. I'd like to know what the fuck we did, though, in this case to get an entire guild banned. I'd like to, genuinely, and I'm not feigning ignorance. I'm not trying to sit here and be like, oh, I don't know what we did. I'm straight up honest with what I know I did personally, but I want to know what this entire guild was doing as a unit to break a rule.
Especially the ones who weren't even playing TBC, right?
Yeah, dude, the ones that, I mean, there's people that can't play
weren't even in
Midnight,
the
right?
guild.
There's people that can't play Midnight. There's people that decided to quit because TBC hasn't been that fun for them. You know, they're not enjoying it. You know, we are trying to like push our core group a little bit harder this time, maybe get some faster times up. So, you know, some people are just burning out a little bit from that. But yeah, man, like I just like to fucking know, like, what did we fucking do and who did we piss off, you know, to make it this big of a deal? And if there's anybody at Blizzard with any sort of control, if you are listening to this video, I don't know if you're gonna just put our voices straight up here. You're gonna, you know, paraphrase it. But I'd like to know, if you work at Blizzard and you work on this team and you're not aware of what happened, can you please just look into this and maybe reach out to me and just tell us like what the fuck happened here? Because, you know, if you don't, I think there's some people running around at your company just doing things erroneously and just, you know, doing whatever they want based on, you know, what they feel is right versus like what's actually against the rules. And it's really just ruining the game for hundreds of people. I mean, our guild is very large, and they have friends that play this game. I mean, I know that that's a small amount of sort of the overall subscribers, but people have been moving away from this game for years, and this is a big reason why. The lack of customer support is terrible, and it makes us feel like the money that we give you, which, you know, I'm a huge Blizzard pay pig. I've spent thousands of dollars, probably tens of thousands of dollars on Blizzard products over the years. And I've done nothing but support it with my guild and keeping people playing and encouraging people to have multiple accounts and do these things. I mean, I've personally feel like I've brought in a lot of people to this game in the last 6 years. And I'd like to know like what the fuck we did. I mean, I think it warrants a response at the very least. I don't want special treatment. I just want to know what the fuck we did wrong.
It's definitely getting a lot of traction.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean, at the end of the day, I hope this at least there's somebody at the company, if they did do something wrong, you know, it's dealt with, because it's pretty fucking upsetting that, you know, you can just, you know, literally do whatever you want if you're high enough at a company and you know people and you upset somebody that knows somebody. I mean, it's kind of like when you upset a cop and, you know, the guys just starts, if you piss off a cop and he starts following you around to see if you're speeding. That's what it feels like. It feels like our guild is under a microscope consistently because somebody knows somebody at Blizzard and they don't like our guild. And it feels like we're under a fucking magnifying glass constantly with these people. And
I mean,
you know,
we've been threatened with it before too. It's not like this like we're just coming up with these like allegations out of
I'm not
nowhere.
schizophrenic.
GG's.
Like I'm not. I don't think I'm being gang stalked. But it's pretty concerning when there's people who are making threats that they know people at Blizzard. There's going to be consequences. You know, and yeah, like when they say those things, I laugh it off, and then I say, yeah, okay, my dad works for Blizzard too. You know, those types of threats. But then like the next day, all of a sudden, like all our entire guild literally goes offline all at once. That's crazy, man. I haven't seen that shit ever.
It's pretty unprecedented in Classic, man. For the whole guild, 1,000 members. I don't think it's happened before.
More.
1,000 characters banned. Yeah, I mean, we have consistently
people who don't have a G tag and haven't for weeks, if not months, still getting hit somehow. Like, how does that even, like, what is the association there? What, like, chained that, you know?
Absolutely.
It's insane.
To address what you said earlier about, like, whether or not I would chop this up or not, the reason I did that with the first one was just because I didn't have a chance to talk to you guys and get your permission for everything. So anything that I thought might come back on you, I just went ahead and removed from all parties. If you guys are comfortable with this, I would like to just post the whole thing in its entirety. Is that all right with you?
I mean, if you want, yeah, that's fine. I don't think you're going to make us look bad. I mean, you sound like a nice guy. I'm not somebody who... I tend to give people more trust than they deserve. So I don't think you have any, like, you know, ill will here. But, like, you know, obviously, like, I think you just need to do what's fair. And yeah, if that's all you're going to do is post it, not edit anything out, cut out context, then that's absolutely fine. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of yapping here, so people are probably gonna think I'm yapping a lot. But other than
that's
that,
up to them. If they want to scrub through it, they can scrub through it. But it'll be posted in its entirety if you're comfortable with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
So some follow-up questions I had after this conversation with Shotto and everything yesterday. Do you guys think that there's a proper resolution there? Do you think you guys can work together in the future, or at least like not work against each other in the future? Do you think that stands from last night?
I don't hold grudges. I don't like to. I used to, and I think they're bad for your health and they're bad for just things in general. I think the life is too short to stay angry at people. I don't like to have enemies. I love to have friends and not enemies. Believe, believe it or not, I'm sure there's people out there that think that I love to have enemies, but I don't. I like to have friends, and I'd rather not be at, other people's, uh, be at each other's throats constantly. I'm not saying like I want to be best friends with all these guys because obviously there's a lot of like shit that's been said from us too. Inappropriate things from both me and Shotto have been said to each other. But at the end of the day, like I'd rather not have like just constantly shit throwing at each other. It's just really exhausting, and I don't think it does. I mean, sure, it's funny to people, and they think like they like the drama, and it is like entertaining for some people, but I mean there's a lot more entertaining things out there than two idiots yelling at each other in a drama channel. Yes, it's funny for like 30 seconds, but it's exhausting, and it gets old really quick. So I think that we could move on to more entertaining things than me and Shotto arguing in the drama channel. But yeah, I would much rather be at least neutral with them and not have any problems. So
Absolutely. I've got two.
I'd say for the past
go ahead.
12 months though, there hasn't been
yeah, we haven't had
a
shit.
back and forth.
He like randomly like tagged me a few times like angry, like just like angry about some bullshit. Like I don't know. And I like checked it and I'm like, oh, okay. And like he like DM'd me when they got a world boss instead of us one time. And I was like, okay.
I would say
and
that's more like competitive than anything. Like
yeah.
that's like competition's healthy.
Like a rivalry.
Competition's fine.
I like
it's fine.
competition, but like when we're, I mean, again, I am sometimes somebody who does throw personal insults. When I'm getting personally insulted myself, I shouldn't stoop to other people's levels, but I do, unfortunately. And with these guys, I mean, it's just like it's hard not to when you're just getting shit on constantly by like people who just hold the same opinion over and over and just are unwilling to like see it from your point of view. It just gets old, and it's exhausting. So the people that know us though, who aren't in our guild, who are our friends, know who we are, and the people who have had good experiences with us know who we are. So I think at the end of the day, that's the way I'd like to keep it. Just the way we treat the average person we run into, and that's it.
Absolutely. You guys covered what Gigi and Simon Eyes like their roles in this already, so I don't need to ask that. My last question for you is, if you had dev power at Blizzard, like what would your solution for world bosses be?
They need to do. I mean, they should just do what they did in SOD. Like I didn't play SOD past the first phase, but our rest of our guild kept playing. And it sounded like that was like the right way to go about it. Like instanced, mobs, or do it like the Chinese realms do with the new. I forget what the name of the Chinese servers are, but the new servers that they've put out, just do it like that, where the bosses spawn and you have a lockout, and you can go with like however many people you want. It gives you a certain amount of loot. Like it's so funny that they want to like maintain the original like TBC experience on this second go around that we just had 3 years ago, but they completely chopped up World or Wrath of the Lich King, because Wrath of the Lich King, if you don't fix the problems in it, is a bad expansion. Like people look at it with rose-colored glasses and think that it's this amazing expansion. How much things needed to change in Wrath of the Lich King to make that game playable for the average classic player, for us to enjoy it during this last anniversary go around. Think about that. You had a ton of changes with RDF. You had different badge gear thrown in, that they had tokens with a token system, and you had these different I forget what they were called, but the different modes that you could do on the heroics. They had to completely fucking change undead DKs because of the fucking how overpowered they were, because of the things we were doing with it. So they had to completely change Wrath, and they also there's a lot of other changes that they made, but it's just like they barely are trying to touch TBC because they want it to like be original TBC, but there's so much quality of life that they could be throwing in here to make the game better. And world bosses are fun to do, and everybody should get to do them. But we have a large guild that wants to do them, and it's one of those things that's like, if you just made it an instance content, then we just need to do it once a week, and then it's done, and then everybody's happy, and then there's no drama. It's a PvE realm. What kind of fucking drama could there be? There really should be no drama on this server, but the drama that's here is almost primarily circled around world bosses. And then other than that, it's like when there's like a weird streamer that like runs a guild and says a bunch of weird shit and they get like run off the server. That's like the only other drama I've seen on the server. It's just insane. It's just really bad for the game. So yeah, I would say instance things or lockout based, just like they did. And then they did the lockout shit in Classic too. And then they didn't bring it to TBC. Like it makes no sense.
The only reason they did that though is because of SOD.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it makes no sense. Like
the same game platform.
Like they launched the same fucking mobs from SOD with a lockout that they had. That wasn't in Classic. That's not how it used to be. So you can only have one shot at getting an ED per week on a warrior. Look, what the fuck was that? That was so out of the blue, random, and they just left it in the game. And they're like, yeah, this works. And then they're not going to do that in TBC. Like that's insane to me. I don't think that fixes the problem though, because in SOD they had it inside of an instance, so it doesn't solve the problem if it's on a lockout, because people will literally bring boosted characters for some gear. Like if somebody's making a mage, they'll just like boost a mage, bring it for a Talon, and then if they didn't get the Talon that week, they'll boost it, or a warlock. It'd probably be a warlock more than a mage. They'll boost another warlock. Okay, did Talon drop? Okay, and if they're like up for the Talon, if they're seated for it, they're just going to keep bringing like a boosted warlock. Some insane person will probably do that. But yeah, other than that, I really don't think there needs to be a whole lot of changes. But I mean, it's just so bad. I mean, everybody's talking about it. Wowhead just put a fucking article out about it. Something needs to change, or they at least need to update the rules and explain like in specifics like what the issues are if you're going to ban an entire guild. So that's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate it. There's no hard feelings or anything, or like people upset. So
all right, awesome.
Mainly the no hit Jerome shit.
I gotcha. Well, I appreciate your guys' time. Thank you for giving it to me. I will post this in its entirety, except for that little caveat. And I hope you guys have a good time once you get back. And I hope you continue to kill world bosses, man. Thank you for your time.
All right, thanks, Face. Thanks for talking with us.
Take it easy, guys.
What's up, dude?
Hey, THX, how you doing?
Not too shabby, another day, another dollar.
I know that feeling, man. So basically the way this has gone so far is I have like a little list of questions here, but first what I like to do is just give you an open floor to describe, your entire experience with NOC and everything, and your entire experience as it relates to like all the drama on the Discord and stuff. And then after that, if you don't answer the questions like in that process that I have already written down here, then I'll ask you those questions. But that's the way that I've treated it so far. So that's what I'm gonna have you do. Is just feel free to take the floor, open up with whatever you'd like to say, and then when you're finished, I'll start asking you a series of questions.
All right, sounds good. I mean, I can go pretty deep into this, but see a lot of it revolves around like that personal situation that happened to me, and then you know how it all went out or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I was in the guild Rise, and I didn't start playing Anniversary until late July, so I was never a part of the world boss drama that happened the first time around. I was only just informed from like pretty biased sources, like like Puck and Shotto and whoever else. So I wasn't necessarily aware of exactly what happened, but from the way that it was described to me, it was just like Goof Troop sucks. They're the bad guys. Goof Troop, they blah blah blah. But near the end of Vanilla, when world bosses became irrelevant, I mean, mostly NOC just killed all of them. And then going into TBC, we were pretty adamant on like being big contenders for the world bosses. We had with our quote unquote world boss leader officer, there had been an agreement between Goof Troop, and this is just like to my knowledge, I can't confirm this, but there was an agreement to like no griefing, none of that. It's just whoever gets the tag, they get their pull, and then you pull after them, whatever it may be. That was the agreement, and Goof Troop failed to follow that agreement. So that's kind of where I'm a little bit salty, is just that it's like they got banned a year ago for doing it. So why are you doing it again? And regardless of what was said in like the drama channel about like, oh, there's an agreement, it wasn't griefing, it was this. I mean, that's just so that people can quit being mad at each other or whatever. But no, there's definitely griefing going on, not only from Goof Troop but from NOC. The thing about it, and it's the same. It's like it's a mirror. So in Goof Troop, their GM Hearthburn, he is griefing the world bosses, and in NOC, our GM Shotto, he was griefing the world bosses. Uh, although I doubt Hearth got any shit for griefing. Shotto, we gave him a lot of shit, and we told him that that's like unacceptable, and we don't do that. We are respectful when it comes to the world bosses, regardless if we get our tag stolen. But yeah, the whole world boss drama, it's been quite an episode so far.
Absolutely, it has. Um, so the first question I have for you is, how long have you been with NOC?
I joined NOC on like the first week of Nax. I left the guild Rise because there was some issues going on in Rise. So I went, and before I joined NOC, I actually was going to join Goof Troop before Shotto like messaged me and all of this. So I was like in like the interview process to join Goof Troop because I have like an IRL friend in Goof Troop and like some longtime friends from Goof Troop, even people I knew in Rise that left and went to Goof Troop. So I have friends in Goof Troop, and I was about to join them, and then I ended up joining NOC right as Nax came out.
Gotcha. And you said that your your relationship with the NOC and Goof Troop and everything starts around July of last year. Or is that when did Nax come out last year? God, it's been
Nax was October, I
October.
believe.
Okay. Um, my next question is, after last night, do you think that like NOC and Goof Troop have come to like a resolution where they can either work together in the future or at least not work against each other? Do you think that'll settle?
I think short term it definitely will, just because like if they see that an entire guild got banned and then they're still getting reported for the same thing, then it's probably gonna be pretty harsh punishment. So I think like short term, yeah, Goof Troop is definitely not gonna grief, or at least I hope not. And Knock, we've like agreed multiple times like no griefing at all. I don't think Goof Troop and Knock will ever like work together just because of the competitiveness of world bosses. I think maybe like Shotto said last night, like however many months ago they teamed up for an Azzy kill because it was super late and there weren't enough people. So maybe it's like 4 in the morning and we have 10 people on, they have 15 people on, and you just roll out the loot. That's a possibility. But yeah, I think that it's come to an agreement.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, honestly, I think it's the best case scenario for everyone. That's just my personal opinion. Um, my next question for you is like, do you think that, or how rather, do you think that Simon Eyes and GG play into this whole thing? Because that seemed to be a pretty popular topic of discussion last night.
Yeah, so me personally, I don't think Simonize had anything to do with it. But you know, it's hard to tell. I think Simonize is just like he's just like a little streamer. He just gets on his stream, plays the game. And I don't think he's really too involved in like, and has like a Blizzard friend. Um, But I have known Dank, who is the GM of GG. I've known him for a while, and he also doesn't seem to be like the type. But was all like I've been talking with him over the past few weeks with, everything that's been happening with Goof Troop and World Boss griefing, because Goof Troop apparently has been griefing them and other groups. And so I've been talking to him about that, and he does not seem like he's not happy about it at all. Like he's very upset um that they're getting griefed. And then especially abusing like I guess allegedly abusing a glitch that makes it to where you're PvP flagged.
That totally makes sense. If you had developer power, right, or access to developers with which to influence them, what changes, if any, do you think you would make to world bosses and how they work now?
Um, me me personally, I don't think there should be any changes to world bosses. I think it perfectly captures what world bosses are supposed to be. They're supposed to be competitive. You're supposed to be spending hours of your night sitting looking for Kha'Zix or Doomwalker. I like how world bosses are done. If a change had to be made, I would just change the windows to them. So it's a lot of these layers. They're hardly lasting 12 hours to where the world boss can even spawn. I mean, right now we only have one layer that something could possibly spawn, and both of them are already dead. So maybe I would change just as soon as a new layer opens, uh, that boss is able to spawn within 12 hours, and after it's killed, if the layer makes it that long, then it spawns after 12 or 24 hours compared to the 72 hours that you have to wait.
So, just so that I understand you, and I'm sure that I understand you correctly, a layer needs to be up for 72 hours before a world boss can spawn on it?
The layer needs to be up for 12 hours. As soon as the layer's up for 12 hours, then it is able, the boss is able to spawn. The problem that we're seeing now is like now that everyone's kind of done leveling to 70 and getting their pre-bis and doing whatever, a lot of these layers they're hardly making it to 7 or 8 hours. So the world boss spawns themselves are going to be going down. So they can either just keep a permanent 4 layers or whatever, or just make it where as soon as a layer spawns, the boss spawns within 12 hours.
Interesting. That's news to me. Nobody's brought that up yet. I had no idea about that. All right. Well, lastly, is there anything else that you'd like to say? Anything that you'd like to share for the few people that are going to watch this video?
Let me think here. Join NOC.
Join NOC. Yeah, I heard you run 3 of the 4 raid teams.
I do, yeah. I'm the raid leader for 3 of our 4 raid teams that we have in NOC. We're running basically like every day.
That is super nuts. Well, I'm glad that I got a chance to let your voice be heard or have your voice be heard, because that's a lot of raid leading.
Yeah, I really appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, I appreciate yours too. Thanks for stopping to chat with me. Like I said, my plan is to kind of post all of this stuff unedited, all of the interviews, run them back to back, and just let the server kind of fall where it may. Try to have that out by tomorrow. Is there anything in here that you don't want to share? You're good with me sharing all this publicly?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks for sitting down with me.
Yes, sir. You have a good one.
Take it easy, THX. You too.